We're moving in a new direction, moving forward, and moving beyond smoking. We are Altria, and our companies are leading the way in moving adult smokers away from cigarettes by taking action to transition millions toward potentially less harmful choices as we move from being known as a tobacco company to being recognized as a tobacco harm reduction company. Altria is moving beyond smoking. Find out how at altria.com.
It used to be hard to find the exact auto parts you needed, and that meant spending a lot of time at swap meets. It's a different game now when you can order exactly what you need from eBay Motors. They have 122 million parts, so you can always find the right fitment. Spend less time searching and more time building with the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Hey everyone, this is the Almost World Podcast. Bringing to you mind-blowing interviews with guests from all over the world. So settle down, relax, and enjoy the show. Oh yeah, by the way, if you like the podcast, please support Elmo's World Podcast on Patreon. Your support is what helps the podcast improve more and more. Welcome to Elmo's World Podcast. This is Elmo Ador, and it's awesome to talk to my friend Mohammad Hamza. Bro, can you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Mohammad Hamza. I'm a proud Muslim. I'm from New Delhi, India, and I am a builder by profession. And my hobbies are reading books, and I'm a bit an electronic kind of guy. I love electronics and gadget. And I have a hobby about acquiring knowledge related to religious stuff, not just Islam, but other religions too. I'm a friendly guy, and I can have a chat with anyone, any civilized person without any problems.
So I believe that we could get right down to business now, and I want to ask you this question. Why are you a Muslim? Were you born into it? Are you a convert?
No, this is not the reason that I was born into a Muslim family, but this is not the reason for me being a Muslim. Because if you're gonna ask me, till the age of 17 or 18, I was maybe you can call it a namesake Muslim. I believed in God, I used to pray, but I didn't know anything about my religion or any other religion. I was just like a normal guy. Like my parents used to tell me that you have to do this thing. We are Muslims, we go to prayer on Eid, Bakra Eid, or these are our festivals, and there are some people who don't believe in our religion. They are called Hindus. Basically in India, the major religion is Hinduism. So they used to tell me about the environment which I am living in, but I was no more closer to any religion, not just Islam. I was just practicing it because my parents asked me about it. But at the age of 18, I don't know. I was having a hard time in my life because of some personal issues. I don't want to share them, but I'd say I was almost in like some kind of a depressing state. So I thought to myself that I should. Why am I here? What's the purpose of my life? So I started researching. I was like, what we say. I wanted to find God. So at the first point, I thought to myself that I should go and read the Quran first, because it's my birth religion. So I thought to myself to read the Quran first, and then after reading the Quran for the first time, I was completely a new person. I was completely transformed. I used to drink alcohol before that, and I was a very bad guy, very angry guy. I used to hit people just. I told you about an incident regarding me. I was a very bad and very angry guy, and I used to drink alcohol and do all kind of non-Muslim things, and which are not associated with Islam. Not right or wrong is a different thing, but not very Muslim things. So the Quran transformed me, and I was finally at peace. And then I decided I just didn't stop at the Quran, so I decided to read uh, the Hindu scriptures, and then I decided to read the Bible and the Jewish Jewish Talmud and etc. Buddhism. I have read some parts of the Buddhist book, and then I was like, I too have like talked to atheists for 5 years of my life. I think maybe I've talked to atheists and have debated with them about science and stuff and many things, almost everything, why we are here and what's the purpose, is there a God or not, about the Big Bang and about the string theory, about the expansion of universe, almost everything I've talked with the atheists. So, and theory of evolution. So after like spending a lot of time in research, I finally concluded that I'm a Muslim and I'll be a Muslim for the end of. And the biggest reason for me, yeah, the biggest reason. Some people think that I don't know, it's a mindset or something, but the biggest reason for me being a Muslim is not because of the religion of Islam, but because of the concept of God in Islam. Like the concept of God in Islam is so clear and beautiful and almost perfect to me, as per my understanding, that oh, there is only one God and there can only be one God, because we humans are one people, so we can only have one God. So the concept of God described in Islam, I found it to be very well stated and very well described. So that's why this is the biggest reason why I'm a Muslim.
Yeah, you do
And
know that the
if, for
concept of
example,
God in Islam
uh,
is similar to
yeah,
the concept of God in Jewish and beliefs, right? It's basically like
Judaism,
based on it.
yeah,
If from a third party perspective.
not 100% same, but yeah, the closest to the Islamic concept of God would be Judaism.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, because I like we could talk about the theology, the traditions, or what your specific debates about, the debates about which religion you believe in. But let's talk about what Islam is to you. How does it affect your life, and how does it change your behavior, your attitude? How does it make you a better person?
The fundamental thing that changed in me after I learned about Islam and the concept of God, after reading the Quran, basically, the thing which got into my mind was that someone is watching me all the time. Like before reading the Quran, I was like, for example, my parents used to ask me that you gotta fast in the month of Ramadan. So I used to fast in front of them, and then when uh, I was in the school. I was 17, I think, maybe. It would be called high school in US or UK. So I was 17 and I was in 12th standard. So I used to break my fast. Then I used to go to school and then resume it when I came back. But after like reading the Quran, yeah, after reading the Quran and after accepting Islam, I would say that I feared that I cannot break my fast because of any kind of reason. Because someone is watching me constantly 24/7 and I cannot hide from him. So this was the biggest impact on me, that I was before doing anything bad or breaking any law of Islam, I used to think twice that, like for example, I don't know. I was a very notorious guy, Elmo. I don't, I don't know if I should share with you or not, but I was a really very bad guy. Like I used to do things which I'm afraid, even afraid to talk about. So after accepting Islam, like after reading the Quran, I was like, there's someone watching at me every time, and he's gonna ask me someday that what were you doing at that moment of time? What were you thinking? That no one's watching you. So this is the biggest thing I think which affected me after reading the Quran.
So in a way, like Islam helped you become a better person because you feel that you will be held accountable for your actions and the things that you do in this life.
Yeah, there will be consequences both in this life and the afterlife.
Okay, but I have to be honest though. I find a huge problem in that. In terms of like, well, for me, to be honest, like comparing it to my faith in Christianity, because in how I look at what Islam is to you, it seems to be that you're being good or acting or behaving this way because of fear of that, oh, you're gonna do something bad right now, so if I do that, I will be held accountable in the future in judgment day. But it doesn't really affect who you are, or there's no change, but it's that you're like, for example, like you're someone in a country where there are CCTV cameras everywhere, and everyone's tracking you, and so you're scared to do bad things, but you're still who you are. Nothing changed.
Yeah, that's right, and that's a good point to make. That's right, and that's a good point to make. I would say that, for example, Elmo, if you see me before 18, I didn't used to give in charity. I used to give I became more charitable after reading the Quran. Now I've given charity just because to please God.
Yeah, so you were talking about your how Islam helped you become more charitable.
Yeah, saying that I would say that if only a fool would spend in charity, because it doesn't make sense. Like, why should someone? So what I was saying that for reading the Quran, I was like, if you had asked me this question about charity, I would say that you must be a fool to give in to charity. Like, if you have, for example, $100 and you give in $25 in charity, then you are poorer by $25. You just have $75 in hand. So what's the basic reason why should someone give in to some stranger? Like there's a beggar, he cannot do anything good for you. He cannot do anything for you at all. He on his own is disabled to do anything for his own self. So what can he do for you? So the charity would make you only poorer by, for example, $25. So after reading the Quran and after gaining some knowledge about Islam, the Prophet of Islam says that in no ways does charity makes you poor. Whatever you spend in the cause of God, God will reward you in 7 times or 10 times or 70 times in the hereafter, and in this world all too. So, and there are many reasons that Islam provides that to stabilize a society you should give in charity, you should give in to poor people, to make your country better, make your society better. So there are many reasons, but as a non-believer, it's hard to believe, hard to make a point regarding charity. Like, why should someone give into charity? There is no, for example, if I would be an atheist, there would be no logical reason for spending in charity. The only thing one can say is that you should, you would be called good, or you would behave good. That's it. That's the only reason any atheist or any non-believer can say. Any person who doesn't believe in any religion or who doesn't believe in God would say regarding charity. So after like you were saying that uh, I am controlling myself not to sin just because there is someone watching over me. Yes, that's it. Because if I'm given a freehold, I cannot slap Barack Obama. If I even if I will to, like as a human, humans want everything. Like I want to be the president of the earth. So there are limits set up by the creator, and I would say that we by accepting the commandments of God, we can live a better life. We don't know about ourselves better than God. God is the creator. Creator would know about us better than us itself. For example, if you take my kid who's 2 years old, he likes chocolate. So if I'm gonna give him like tons of chocolates, he's gonna be happy. But on the other hand, he would like he would become unhealthy. He would he would have health issues because of that chocolate. So I think that as an adult, I know that the chocolate is bad. Too much chocolate is bad for him, but he doesn't know that. So in the same scenario, God knows what's best for us and what's bad for us. Like we may think that, for example, if you take pornification, many people can argue about pornification, that if two people are agreeing over one thing, then who are you to question them? I would say that it disturbs the society in some ways. It disturbs the society, and it's against the morality of humans in particular. So that's my I would say that would be my answer regarding your question, that we are all bad. Elmo, you even if I give you a chance to become a god, for example, if God's gonna ask you to become God, the first thing you're gonna do is kill the other god. Bro, really, you're gonna do that? So there would be no competition left. No. I'm not saying that what you would do if you were God. I'm saying if God would make you a god, like a second god, what would you do? No. Elmo, you know the weakness of humans, the biggest weakness of humans is, like if you have $10 in your hand, you'd go for 20. If you have got 20, you're gonna go for 40 and 80. So the list keeps going on. The human.
Yeah, but if you ask me if I was God, right? If I was God, I would be perfect in every way. If I was perfect in every way, then I wouldn't want to be more of perfect, because I'm already perfect. Right? So why would I have any motivation to do anything that is not already within me? So I guess it's sort of a loaded question, because I guess that we have to talk about like what kind of God do you mean? You're probably talking about like a Greek God or something.
No, I'm not talking about Greek God. I'm saying that you are if you become the Almighty, all powerful, omnipotent, and omnipresent, or whatever, and then you find another God right besides you, giving commandments to, for example, me, and you want.
I wouldn't care,
bro.
I wouldn't care.
The thing is, if
I could create my own universe.
And what if the other God interferes in your work? Then what's you gonna
It's
do?
okay. I could make a new one just out of nothing. It's fine.
You'd be a super kind God, eh?
Yeah, because I'm God. Like I could do anything. Like, so what if the other God like keeps disturbing me? I have unlimited attention. So that wouldn't really be a bother.
But God does have ego in all the religions. God does have ego.
Do you think that Allah has ego?
Yeah, absolutely. Every God in every religion on planet Earth does have ego. Muslims call it like the biggest ego. For example, there is no, if you find the logic in Pharaoh claiming to be God, and God getting upset because of it, or people worshipping idols and God getting upset because of people worshipping the idols, that means that God must have an ego. That's why he is getting hurt. Because, for example, God is the one who is giving you life, who is giving you shelter, food, water, everything, parents. everything He's giving it to you, and then you turn up to a stone or an idol, and then you thank that stone instead of the one who's providing you all the things. That's ungrateful. So every god in every religion on earth does have an ego, and he takes revenge from ungrateful people or punishes them. Revenge would be a like a harsh word. I would say that he would punish the ungrateful people. I think even if you were also God, you want to also do that. That's my opinion, by the way. I cannot talk about
If
you.
I was God, I wouldn't care about anything else, you know. So that's all. But I guess that you know, like when we talk about, like, for example, Allah, right? You say he has an ego. That's a huge problem. Like, what kind of ego does Allah have? Does he have like a narcissistic ego, or more of a selfless ego? What kind of ego does Allah have?
I'm not good at words. I would say that ego of God is that He is the only worthy of worship. That's it. Like Allah believes that not Allah doesn't believe. Allah thinks that He is the only worthy of worship, and no one should worship anyone.
Okay, I have a challenge for that. Because because all of you because all of humans have a concept of God, but we never really hit the perfect concept of God, right? Do you think so? Because we are all human and we are imperfect, and however we try to conceive God in our mind, we will never have it right, have it perfectly. Do you agree? And so, if all, like, the billions of humans, or let's say all, even just all the Muslims, let's say, talk about all the Muslims, they have this concept of Allah in their mind, but it's not the perfect Allah. Therefore, they're not really worshiping Allah himself, but they're worshiping a God they created in their minds. Therefore, it would be a sort of idolatry, and Allah himself should get angry with all the Muslims who have wrong concepts of him. Do you agree with that? Because they're typically worshiping a different kind of God, like they're worshiping a Christian God or a Buddhist God, because they're not worshiping. They don't know the perfect concept of Allah in their minds. Therefore, they're not worshiping Allah at all. If that's how you say it.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a good point you made. If you ask me, there's a person who I knew. He was in my other Facebook group. His name, I used to call him Spaceman. So he believes that Allah is basically space, like not the outer space, but space. I don't know how to describe it. Like a space between things, or space wherein the universe and everything is resting. So he believes that Allah is space. So, but as a Muslim, I know that Allah is not space, because as per the Quran, Allah says that you cannot give an example of me. Like there is no, you cannot even use, for example, you cannot say that Allah is 10 times stronger than King Kong, or you cannot say like Allah is 1 million times stronger than the tsunami waves. You cannot say that.
You mean like you cannot compare Allah to anything else?
We cannot compare Allah to anything else. So, but if
But but there's a problem there, right? Because if I cannot compare the real Allah, to anything else, therefore the Allah in my mind is something that I've created, the concept that I've understood, which is not the perfect Allah concept of Allah, because I'm just human. I would never understand
you're right.
him. It's sort of, so in a way, it's sort of me comparing Allah himself to the God I created in my mind.
Exactly.
So
as per Islam, I'm gonna give you the Islamic perspective about that. As per Islam, Allah says that you cannot even imagine me. Like whenever you're gonna imagine, for example, that Allah must be this or that, or must be this stronger, or he must look like this, or whatever you're gonna imagine, that would be a false god. That's not Allah. Islam is clear and about this thing, that you cannot even imagine Allah, that you cannot think about him, what he is, how big he is. Muslims say this word 5 times a day, Allahu Akbar. That means God is the greatest. But no one knows actually. No, if you're gonna ask any Muslim how great is Allah, he would have no answer for that, because we don't know. We're gonna know that thing after we meet Allah in the hereafter, as per our belief. And about the question you asked me about the concept you have in mind about Allah and about the real Allah, bro, we have to place all the religions on earth. All of them, almost all of them, claim to be from the real God. Okay, just not name it Allah, just call him God. So all the religions on planet Earth claim to be from the real God. We have to, can we at least assume that one of them must be right, or one of them would be correct?
I assume that any one of them could be correct, right? We could assume that all of them could be wrong.
All of them.
That I could be.
All of them could be wrong, or either one of them would be right, or
no, not really. No, not one of them could be right, because they're all human and they could never conceive of the true nature of God.
Yeah, exactly. That's my second point. I'm gonna take you to that thing. But first, let's assume that either one of them would be correct, that one of them should be claiming to be the claim made by, for example, Christianity would be correct, at least that this book is from the Bible is from God. Then we're gonna compare it to another books, another religious books, and another religions. Then we gotta research and find out what fits best, what makes logic, because God is not illogical. God should make logic. Okay. So we're gonna compare it, then conclude that okay, I think this may be God, for example. Like every human says that God is all powerful. You won't find any human on earth who says that God is a weak person, or God is like, for example, if you take Jesus Christ in Christianity, he appears to be weak. But if you're gonna ask, because he's human, God in the form of human. So if you're gonna ask any Christian that is your God weak, he would say no, my God is all powerful and all omnipotent. If you're gonna ask him why, because he is not in his real form. The same logic goes with the Hindus. They believe that this God Ganesha is the all-powerful God. They make idols of it and then throw them into the sea, and they say that their God is all-powerful. And if you're gonna ask them that this God cannot lift a housefly from his own nose, how can he be all-powerful? He would say no, he's all-powerful. He's in his true form, he is all-powerful, but he has appeared to us in the form of an elephant, like the Ganesh resembles. So we are, all the humans around the world are at least on the same page regarding what God should be like. For example, we all believe that God should be all-powerful. We all believe that God should have, like, God is the one controlling the universe and everything. God is the creator of everything. God provides us with health and knowledge. God has got all the knowledge of the universe. Like the attributes of God, all the humans are on the same page regarding that. Now the differences come only when we describe God, that how God looks. Some people say, like the Christians say, he looks like Jesus Christ. Some Hindus say that he looks like Sri Ram. Jews and the Muslims would say that, for example, if you're going to take the Jews would say that God is unseen, everything, but he can become a human and meet Abraham with other two angels, if only he wishes. And if you're going to ask a Muslim would just say that he's unseen, no one has seen him, no one has knowledge about him, what he is, what he looks like, or whatever, what are his attributes. If you're gonna ask a Buddhist, he would say that he knows nothing about God. If he's there or if he's not there, they don't know anything about God. If you want to believe in God, it's up to you. If you don't want to believe in God, it's up to you. No one's gonna punish you for that. So different religions, uh, the parting of the ways comes when we describe God, how He is. So what the point I was making, that at least one of them must be correct. Because if there is a God, He shouldn't or couldn't leave us alone like an orphan on this planet Earth. He cannot leave us like this on Earth, like to just die or become a food for the inhabitants of Earth, or to be helpless. For example, if you see a poor man begging on the street, if there's no God, then that's a very bad world, very, very cruel world. There's no one on his back. So at least we have to see that the real God must have contacted human race. The only, I would say, the only in our knowledge about, I'm talking about the science and thing. In our knowledge, the only intelligent species in the universe other than God would be humans. So there must be something at some point that God must have contacted humans. The real God must have contacted humans and told him about his will, that he wants this from humans, that he wants humans to live like this, humans to feed the poor or live their life peacefully, help each other, do behave very well to each other, and all sort of things. So at least one of them should be correct. If you're gonna say that all of them are wrong, then we have a problem. Then this God would be like this would make a God would be like a helpless, ignorant, and selfish God that has left humans to suffer on earth. Do you agree with me on this thing, Alma?
Well, I am a Christian, and I believe that God contacted us through Abraham. Yeah, and we could all, I think we could both agree on that.
Yeah, we can agree on that. But I'm not talking about I don't want a Christian perspective. I know actually about the Christian perspective. I'm asking you as a normal person, normal human being. Do you really think that God has left us to suffer on earth? That a real God would be a cruel God? If the real God would be a cruel God, then people would die the moment they sin. For example, if I sin if I sin right now, I must die at the same point. At an instant, I should die. Because of if the God we have is a cruel God. We know that there's a God must be merciful. So we got no choice but to believe that there must be at least one religion on this earth that must be from the real God. So after that
Yeah, and but I have a question for you, because bro, it's been great talking to you, and my question is that who is Allah or God in your life? Like, what role has He played, and what is your relationship with Him?
I got a best companion for myself. For example, if I'm feeling low or feeling excited, feeling thankful or grateful, I just talk to him. Like I talk to him in my heart, from my heart. Like, for example, if I'm feeling low, I pray to God, I say my thing to God, and that makes me feel comfortable. Like there is someone to listen to you. For example, Elmo, I cannot talk to you about some things from my life. The same goes for you too. You cannot share some things from your life to others, even with your even to your parents or your wife or your kids, you gotta hide some things from them. But with God, the, with some kind of a relationship with God, you are open to tell Him everything you wanna say. Like in Christianity, you call it confessing. So I think the best part about believing in God is like you have a companion, you have a friend, an invisible friend whom you can talk with. If you cannot listen to him, at least you can tell him about your situation and feel comfortable about it. So, and the second thing you asked me that how has Allah affected me in my life? I would say that I now know how to control myself. Like, bro, literally, if you're gonna you ask me that who I am. I don't want to tell this to anyone, but because it's a podcast, everyone's gonna listen. And I want to say that I'm a pervert. I'm a I don't know. I am a pervert, and yeah, I don't know how I am controlling myself. It's just only because of God that I'm able to control myself. If I was, for example, didn't have a belief in God, then I must have been like a playboy kind of something. Because I got too much. This would be my weakness, like I would say. So with the help from God, with the help from believing in God, I'm able to control myself. I'm able to control that I shouldn't commit adultery or go commit fornication, because I have a wife and she's a very loyal wife. I don't want to hurt her. But if I didn't believe in God, maybe then I would have broken her heart. But it's because of the fear of God, I've controlled myself that no, I shouldn't do this thing. This would disappoint both my wife and my God, the Creator, the person, the being who created me. So that's what making me stop. So everyone has a dark side. I don't know. Even you should have a dark side, that dark desire, or everyone on this earth, like even the nicest guy would have a deep and dark desire. Like if just imagine if you could become God. I don't know about you, I would be the worst God ever humans would have ever seen or faced. I would be the most selfish and most cruel God ever. So I think that I am actually suppressing the evil inside me with the help of God, who tells me that you should suppress the evil and produce the good from you. That's what changed in me after. And I'm being honest with you, by the way.
Awesome, man. Me too, and I appreciate it. And bro, it's been great talking to you, and I hope that we could have more conversations in the future.
Yeah, we would have, for sure. Then we're gonna discuss about other religions.
So that's the end of it. Thanks for tuning in, guys. This is your host, Elmo Ador Jr. And thank you for listening in. And please subscribe. Please follow us on Facebook. Please follow this. Please. Thanks.
We're moving in a new direction, moving forward and moving beyond smoking. We are Altria, and our companies are leading the way in moving adult smokers away from cigarettes by taking action to transition millions toward potentially less harmful choices as we move from being known as a tobacco company to being recognized as a tobacco harm reduction company. Altria is moving beyond smoking. Find out how at altria.com.
It takes a lot of ingredients to fix or build a car, like cooking, but without the frozen dinner easy way out. eBay Motors has 122 million parts. It's always the right fitment, so you can follow any recipe to a T. Whether it's a vintage Italian coupe that's classic like Grandma's meatballs or a German luxury car that's as complicated as Oma's rouladen, to cook up something great in the garage, use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.